Valentine's Day, the so-called Day of Love, is a day I still remember deeply to this very moment. Let me tell you the story of my love, a story told through Uncle Toy the betta fish. My name is Somsak. My parents, siblings, and all of my friends call me simply Sack, or just Sack for short. Some of my mischievous friends even twist my name and call me Sat, as if they're calling me an animal. I'm from the northeastern region of Thailand, Isan, living in Ubon Ratchathani province, in Muang Sam Sip district. Back when this story happened, I was in my early 20s, you could say. I was in the prime of my youth. I had a girlfriend. And I wasn't the only one who was a traveling lover crossing villages for romance, Chit, Chom, and Kai. My three closest friends were also courting girls from nearby villages, so very often, the four of us would arrange to meet up and walk together to visit our girlfriends. After everything was done, the four of us would walk back home together. It wasn't because we were afraid. The local boys from our girlfriend's village would ambush us. It was simply because our villages were close to each other, and everyone knew everyone well. If you counted carefully, many of us were even related somehow. It was common for boys from my village to marry girls from that village, and for girls from that village to marry men from mine. Whenever there was a wedding, it felt like the entire village would come together. So the idea of fighting or clashing with anyone could be completely ruled out. The only obstacle was the graveyard that sat right in the middle between my village and my girlfriend's village. As I mentioned earlier, our villages were no more than 3 kilometers apart. Each village had its own temple, so the graveyards were combined into a single one. Because of that, my friends and I usually stayed at our girlfriends' houses only until evening, no later than 6 o'clock. We always hurried home before it got dark because none of us wanted to walk through the graveyard at night. Even in broad daylight, it looked frightening. Large rubber trees and towering maca trees grew along the path, making the place cool, dim, and hair-raising. If it looked like that during the day, there was no need to imagine how terrifying it would be at night. And then, the day I encountered something, on the day of love itself, finally arrived. That day was February 14th, 2553. A day I will never forget. I hurried through my chores as quickly as I could because I wanted to bring the gift. I had carefully prepared for Nong Dao, something that would make her happy and impressed. Sack, where are you rushing off to? That's enough. Look at that, you spilled the pig feed everywhere. My mother scolded me, laughing as she saw the rice mixed with bran and vegetables spill out of the bucket and scatter all over the ground. My father, who turned to look at me, said to her with amusement, "Sigh, he's hurrying off to see that Dao girl, from the other village, of course." "All right, Sack. Give the pigs their feed, and then go. I'll cut the grass for them myself. Thank you, Father. So, after I finished feeding the pigs, I quickly took a shower and dressed up to look as handsome as possible. When I finished getting ready, I glanced at the clock hanging on the wall. It showed 20 minutes before noon. I grabbed the gift. I had prepared for Nongdao, my beloved girl, for Valentine's Day, the day of love, and hurried down the wooden stairs. My mother, who was setting lunch with my father, called out, "Hey, Zach, aren't you going to eat lunch first?" "No, Mother. I promised my friends to meet them at the entrance of the village. I'll be late." As soon as I said that, I rushed out of the house, half running, half walking. Behind me, I heard my father laugh and say to my mother, "He's exactly like me when I went to court you January." Whether my mother yelled something back or glared at him, I didn't know. I didn't look back at all, because my heart was already waiting at the meeting point with my friends at the village entrance. When I arrived, my 3 friends, those who shared the same fate in love, were already waiting for me. All 3 of them immediately complained that I came late. I cut them off because my heart wanted to start walking as fast as possible to reach Dao, the girl I loved. All right, you all complain, like women, let's go." The 4 of us walked together, chatting happily. In just a short while, we reached the area of the graveyard, about 1.5 kilometers from my village. My group fell silent instantly, as if we had planned it. We all shifted to walk along the right side of the road, because the graveyard was on the left. The air around that area was strangely cold. Even I felt goosebumps rise up suddenly. "It's damn quiet," Kai whispered softly. I didn't reply, and neither did the others, but he was right. The graveyard was silent, completely silent. Not even the sound of birds or crows. Rows and rows of small spirit houses stood lined up, adding to the eerie feeling. Let me explain, in case some of my friends don't know the word Huan Noi. A Huan Noi is a small bone house where the ashes of a cremated person are kept. The relatives wrap the bones in a white cloth, or sometimes a colored one, and place it in this small house. It looks similar to a spirit house, but a spirit house has only one big pillar, while a Huan Noi has 4 pillars, like a real tiny house, with a small staircase leading up to it. It's usually made of wood, built by the relatives as the last thing they can do for the deceased. We quickened our pace, almost running, as we passed dozens of these little houses. Once we finally got through the graveyard, everyone let out a huge sigh of relief. Chom complained, panting heavily. "Every time I pass this place, my guts twist. I never get used to it." Who the hell would get used to it? It's scary as hell. When we arrived at our girlfriend's village, each of us split up to go to our own girl's house. We agreed to meet again at the usual time, no later than around 5 in the evening. I hurried toward my girlfriend's house. And the moment I saw Nong Dao, all of my tiredness simply disappeared. After I greeted and paid respect to my girlfriend's parents, as good manners required, I helped Dao pound the rice grains. Then I spent time chatting with her. When the afternoon grew late, her parents went up onto the house, giving me space to sit and talk with their daughter. I talked with Dao, happily, enjoying the day of love. Time passed. Toward evening, almost nightfall, I was hugging her, kissing her cheek. Under the house, lost in the moment. Then my 3 friends walked up to Dao's house. "Hey, Sack, it's already 5:30. Let's go. Time to head home." I didn't want to go back. And when Dao the girl I loved told me, "If you truly love me, then don't be afraid of ghosts. Stay a little longer, okay?" I got up and went out to tell my friends to head home first, so the three of them hurried back, leaving me there. Still caught up in my sweet moment, I walked back under the house, went to hug her, kiss her cheek, and forgot everything else. Time slipped by, and soon it turned into dusk. Dao's mother called down from the house. "It's already dark, dear. Come inside now. And Sak, you should go home too. Your parents will worry." That was the moment. I had no choice but to part from the girl I loved. I gently kissed Dao's cheek one more time as a farewell, and when I walked out of her village onto the long road that disappeared into the darkness, I began to feel uneasy. I knew I would have to walk past the graveyard. The hair on my body stood straight up instantly. Damn, I shouldn't have stayed this late, but it's probably nothing. Once I get there, I'll just speed up and get through it. I tried comforting myself. As I stepped into the darkness ahead, I had no flashlight. I had never walked home this late before. I quickened my pace, walking as fast as I could until I saw the fence line made from roughly split bamboo. I saw the small bone houses, the Huan Noi, dimly visible in the darkness on my right side. As I walked closer, it looked as if 3 people were walking ahead of me. My heart lifted. Immediately, I hurried my steps toward the 3 figures walking in front of me. When I got close, all 3 of them suddenly stopped walking and turned to look toward me. But dear God, all 3 faces were pitch black with hollow, empty eyes. They were clearly the faces of ghosts. The figure on the far right spoke to me in a cold, chilling voice, its lower jaw dangling loosely. "Where you going, you little bastard? Walking around in the dark like this?" Ghosts, ghosts. I sprinted with all my strength, running straight through the bodies of those 3 demons. Their laughter echoed behind me. "Ha ha ha ha. Go home, you little bastard. Ha 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 ha." I ran and ran. The only thought in my head was to get out of the graveyard as fast as possible. The next thing I knew, before my mind completely blacked out, my body collapsed backward, right in front of my house. The last voice I heard was my mother's shouting in terror. "Sak, Sak, my boy, what are you running from?" I became aware again when someone pressed a wet cloth on my face and neck. I slowly opened my eyes. The first face I saw was the face of my beloved Nong Dao, sitting beside me, wiping my face and body. "Sak, you're awake? How are you feeling?" Her voice was filled with real joy, so much that her beautiful eyes began to well up with tears. Dao, how did you get here?" I reached out and held her hand, overwhelmed with relief. Dao told me she heard the news from my friends that I had been frightened by ghosts and fallen ill with fever. So she and her parents came to visit me. Her father and mother were downstairs talking with my father. Even though it was Valentine's Day and I was terrified by ghosts, when I thought about it, it was worth it just to see Dao sitting here, taking care of me with so much concern. If ghosts were to scare me again, I'd probably accept it. Drawn by BikiBaam. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, so you won't miss any of our new creative clips. Support our art journey with a super thanks. See you again in the next clip. coming soon.